Alright everybody, game number one, and well, in this case, we're actually currently looking at, as you can see already, CLG going up against Elysium Gaming, and we're on Infernal Shrines. This is the best of one that was being played, and as you can already see here, we have a Chromie in the game. Mitch to the left side for Elysium is playing Rhaegar, we have Neon on Chromie, Blade on Nubarak. Falstad is played by AD and Bad Benny on Mirrodin. To the right side of the map, it's currently Kreku, he's playing for CLG, we see him here on Tacita, Nika on Kelthas, we have Juve on Diablo, Shihu on Sonya, and Leo from Korea currently on Uther. So the mad scientist here once again. And if you actually remember the games that we've casted in the recent past, then you might remember that we already had a game where Chromie played, and Neon is pretty much a badass on that hero. Like, that guy is hitting most of his hits pretty hard, and it's doing very well for the team overall. So at this point, Neon already with a level 1 talent going into compounding ether. It's like one of the most important talents you can actually have on the hero, since you're just trying to get extra damage out of it. But Chromie oftentimes needs someone who can finish a bit. Like the last time that we were playing on this map, they got massive damage out of Chromie, but they were not able to win the game because they just didn't really have enough damage then in the end to finish those targets off after Chromie already poked them down. But the idea here is, of course, that you only have one shrine on the map and that you can always try and get some good pokes with Chromie from the outside of it. And once again, we're having Neo just hammering those away. Up at the top lane, we're seeing Sonya and also Blade on Nubarak currently doing their little dance there. So the two top laners, whereas the rest of the team is rotating between the mid and the bot lane at this point. And with AD, we are of course already seeing that he's going to try and go straight for a bit of more wave clear. Gathering Storm is also going to be pretty great when we're talking about the minions on the shrines themselves to get the extra damage in, get the explosion, and of course also the boomerang on level 7 and have that wave clear so that you can capture the objective a bit faster. I guess he could have maybe tried to go into a bit more of an auto damage build, given that we have Sonya and Diablo up at the front line. But it's just pretty safe to burst these waves away with Falstad. You get good wave clear out of it. And at the same time, of course, you have later on also very nice potential to get the objective a bit faster than your opponent. When we're looking at the setup for the CLG guys, for the Polish team, then on the other hand, we're currently looking at Diablo Sonya, and that alone is already a pretty nasty combo to face on this map. But if you have also a Kelthas in the same lineup, then you're actually looking at a setup that is incredibly strong. So this has huge control over those shrines, and you can always just simply try to go in, isolate a hero with Diablo, and then just go ham on that target. And after isolating it even more with Kelthas and the Gravity Labs, and also Leo, of course, in this example, since he's playing Uther with the additional stuff. Level 4 now on both of them. We are already seeing the bronze talons taken here, and therefore a bit of auto attack damage increase on the side of Chromie. And they are starting to poke away with both of the teams hitting their level 4 talent. We saw Falstad at the bot lane, we have up to the top Mirrodin, and right now it seems like we are more seeing Neon trying to get his stacks together than the blue team actually trying to go for the objective as is. 26 minions have already been captured, and they're still not really making an advance towards the objective. They're just poking away, and Neon is getting just hit in after hit. Kreku already having to move out here up to the top. Still Mirrodin in a position where he tries to soak some experience, as you can see. By now, of course, Leo has walked over there too, and we are seeing Kreku basically rotating in whenever lane is about to hit the wall, so that he can soak the experience for his team. So not really falling behind. First Punisher, on the other hand, shouldn't really do too much. And of course, you still try to bait it over the wall, which is what they are doing exactly now. Again, the shots fired as Neon is getting once again the hits in here. He needs to be really careful, though. Neon is in trouble, but they're trying to go for Kelthas. The trap already activated, and once again, Neo is going for it, and Nika is down. First blood in the game. Really well played. Punisher, in the meantime, has also been taken down. So not really a whole lot of work that was done here. Not even a tower has fallen. Not even one. Both of the towers are now currently on half HP. We're seeing at this point Möbius Loop also claimed, so as you can see right now, we have in this case the cooldown reduction, makes it a bit easier for Neon to even get the additional damage in, and he is starting to do exactly that against Juve. When we're looking at the compounding ether, he's actually already roughly on half the hits he needs to really get the increased damage. We're seeing, of course, a couple of additional quest talents on the opponent's side as well. Kreku, by the way, just barely getting away there. And it looked for a moment like AD, look at that, the mad scientist himself trying to fly in and snipe Tacita. Well, that didn't really work for them, but at the top lane we still have Blade. And we haven't really touched too much about the composition that is being played by the blue team here. But I can of course tell that we have, oh, nice body blocks against Leo! Leo with a heal attempt, and no way! He gets out of there, doesn't even die, but those body blocks were pretty sexy. We have a double front line. We have that Muradin, and we also have Nubarak. And Nubarak, of course, can be played as a bit more of a bruiser style. But as you can currently see, we have Legion of Beetles and the Leeching Scarabs currently both taken here, which is going to give him quite a lot of sustain in this case now. Neon is currently still at the mid lane, and we're seeing down to the bottom of the map, Mitch trying to get also a bit more presence on those lanes. So right now, Mitch with the Khazra camp, he's trying to get the first one to just push the bot lane a bit. They're also going for the Shaman camp up to the top left, and they kind of time it with that Shrine activating. You could maybe argue that Rhaegar could have waited a little bit longer to put additional pressure onto the bot lane with Nika being put into a spot where he wants to rotate but can't if he really wants to deny the damage. He needs to stay a little bit longer as is. It gives them a slight advantage going into the Shrine up at the top, but nothing really just too crazy yet. But up at the top lane, you can tell that Blade is the only one who's already in position. Fawcett, of course, holding the mid lane experience. He's going to join last since he has that global. The teams are both now on level 7 talents, and we are seeing them moving in immediately, especially with that Sonya and Diablo combo. CLG is trying to get position on the Shrine. Nika can, of course, always get his skills in too. Neon already a little bit low. He needs to be very careful, as Chromie has not a lot of hit points to fight this, but he's getting even more shots in now against the front line of CLG, trying to get his quest completed. They go for Blade, and he moves out just barely before Nika goes in with a gravity lapse. Nika moving back for now. Same time now, we're having Blade tapping the well. Both of the teams still have access to their well up at the top lane. The Found Nova, of course, incredibly important if you want to have the sustain. But a slight lead in minions at this point for CLG. And again, the Shrine is currently taken by the blue team, but they're starting to move in again. Nice move here. Juve actually, in this case, trying to get a combo off. He needs to get away somehow. Here comes the time lapse. Nika's attack gets stunned, but not taken down. Here come the flame strikes again as ADRD moves away, but Neon is firing away all day long, and he has very good positioning on his Chromie, but this might actually be his downfall. He gets slowed down, gets attacked, has the bombs as well, spreading the loft for now, but they get the kill against Diablo with a great shot by Neon. Getting the kill in, the Punisher taken by the red team after all, though. They are in a 4 versus 5 situation, so they need to be careful, and Neon is still trying to put the pressure on, but once more, those living bombs are being spread. Fawcett flies in, and they didn't properly bait the Punisher. That's a massive problem for the team right now. Diablo, of course, by now is also back, and they start to rotate him into the middle of the map where they are attempting to just get additional experience. Here comes the bait now, finally, but this tower is going to fall, and Nubarak gets even taken down. And Nubarak down. John Cena did it again, massively contributing here to the kill. And at this point, Shihu is just trying to push them back as much as he can. Trying to create some space for the rest of the team, and also, of course, for the Punisher. Shihu gets healed. The Ancestral is through mid lane. Tacita is putting the pressure on, trying to take a few of the structures down, and also getting experience for his team. And down to the bot lane, Juve is doing the exact same thing on Diablo. They have a level lead right now. The heroics are, of course, all in play, and this is a great start for CLG into the game. Of course, they only got that one kill up to the top against the Nubarak, but they got the objective twice now, and they're doing really well with it. On the other hand, Chromie has already completed her quest talent, which is, of course, incredibly important. We are 7 minutes into the game, 8 minutes, so she's going to be even more nasty than before. When she goes for those sand blasts, she's going to do massive damage, and especially with also the Dragon's Breath, you can do so much work now if you just hit both on the same target. The time loop, her recoverability is one of the things that she's going to try and time perfectly to get both of those in. And if Fawcett actually throws a boomerang at the same target, this is going to be absolute massive damage that they're going to get out of there. And this is what they're trying to do here. Shihu is already experiencing exactly how painful that is, and he is falling. If you look at the damage output for now, Chromie is at 28,000 and is therefore like doubling, more than doubling actually, the damage that we see for Kalthas on the opponent's team. So he's the highest damage dealer in this game at this point. This is actually pretty impressive right now. Up to the top lane, Neon, ADRD, and Bad Benny are starting to actually go through and burst the wall down. So they're actually catching up in experience again. It's a pretty back and forth game that we're currently seeing between these two teams. It's just pretty fun. This is another talent, by the way, that makes Chromie so annoying if you play her in a coordinated team. Reaching through time allows them now to even place her a little bit farther towards the back line, so that it's even more difficult to get close enough to her to make a difference there. Juve is already being attacked, and Neon, of course, is also starting to take a lot out of bronze talons. He's doing really well with that, making sure that he's just getting the auto attacks in whenever he safely can. It's like the balance that you have to hit with Chromie. You always want to get those, you want to get that damage in too, but you need to make sure that it's only in situations when nobody can really jump you. And if you think about the setup that we are seeing for the red team, for CLG, then Neon has to be very careful. I mean, we're talking about the gravity lapse on Kalthas, the stun on Uther, the force wall, for example, with Tassadar. And we have also Diablo, who can always engage. That's going to be a massive problem later on. It already is to a certain extent. Flowrider, healing static taken on 13, the bed of barbs, a lot of slows, a lot of control that they're trying to execute here. Keeping Chromie in the backline safe, and AD already on his false of course as well. And Juve is once again looking for the kill there, going for Falstad. Nice cleanse, and AD already is able to get away. Gets even the ancestral healing, which in this case wasn't quite needed, but better safe than sorry. Mitch definitely with the right move here, and that cleanse was exactly what they needed to make sure that the Apocalypse did not hit Falstad. Once again, the shots being fired. Leo is in trouble. Leo is low, heals himself, but Bad Benny jumps in. The force wall is there, saving them for now. But once again, Chromie trying to go for the shot, and she misses barely. Shihu, Nika, Leo, Kreku, Juve, they're all low, and they all start to rotate away as for the first time in this game, we're seeing Elysium going straight for the Punisher here. At this point, we're currently having Blade and Neon start to move straight through the mid lane. We're currently having the Punisher, of course, baited in, so they're doing it properly, trying to make sure that the wall does not fall, that it's not an increased experience gain for the opponent's team by them destroying the fort. So already baited in, but we have a pretty big push happening now in the mid lane, and as Sonya is still up at the top, it looks like they will still go through the fort here. It helps that the Punisher is also an arcane Punisher, so that definitely does solid work here for now. And just look at this damage output again. It's 42,000 on Chromie. Falset, by the way, contributing with another 24,000 at this point. So both of them are way beyond the damage output that we're seeing from Sonya, from Kalthas for the opponent's team. That damage is starting to become really a bit of an issue for CLG. They are really heavily relying on Sonya to do a whole lot of work. It's one of the reasons why they're running this with a double support, so that Sonya can just go deep and can make sure that she gets those kills in. Nika in the backline is always trying to spread the bombs as much as he can and provide the flame strikes, but it's starting to become a bit difficult for them. They killed one hero in this game and they lost 4, so it's a 4-1 kill count at this point. But, as you can see, both of the teams, again, just trying to make sure that they're slowly starting to soak towards 16. And it could actually happen that in the case of the blue team of Elysium, they are going to make that happen before we are seeing the next Punisher on the map. So that would be great for them. They have the shifting sands and Chromie as well. An alternative build that we oftentimes see is, by the way, also with the Pierce on level 4 for Chromie, which of course makes it oftentimes a bit easier even to farm the stacks and later on to get the damage out. But right now we are having, first of all, the shifting sands here. We're seeing also the compounding ether. And those two together, if you get those additional ability damage points, then you can do, of course, a ton of work here with your kills. At the top lane, we're seeing AD now in position to help out a bit with the camp that we have. So Bad Benny, Neon currently here in position. We have also the camp now about to be taken. Down to the bottom of the map, we have Mitch, Shihu, and Leo from Korea just soaking experience for now. But the time, of course, for the next shrine is roughly happening. And this is really where both teams usually go for the Shaman camp. So the first one has been taken. Oh, time-lapse already activated. And the attempt to snipe Kalthas. If Nika dies, that would be brutal. Leo is not there in time for the Divine Shield, but they get the counter kill against Chromie. And that was an important one. Even AD already is low. He's also in a bit of trouble, but he can still move away. But still, the camp could not be taken, so they have to depush first of all up at the top. Shaman camp is still pushing. Both of the teams on level 16. That's another important point here as well. And right now, we're currently seeing Earthgrass Totem taken. We're having also the Airy Gust after the Flow Rider, so going for the full ability damage build, which is of course incredibly powerful in this case. We're seeing also, at the same time now, Kalthas with the Sun King's Fury. We're having Imposing Presence taken on level 16 for Diablo, so he's really cautious, being one of the frontliners that's really supposed to go deep to maybe get to Chromie and take her down. And we have a Benediction after the Spell Shield. Spell Shield, of course, a great talent to take as well if you want to negate some of Chromie's damage. Here comes the Ancestral on Bad Benny, but Shiho is pushing them back. They already got a few of heroics on cooldown, so that's pretty great. So right now CLG is doing some solid work, and Nika is of course back to business. They have the lead in the minion stacks, but AD is already attempting to get a few more hits in. Here comes the Apocalypse. He was trying to go in, immediately
immediately, but nice move by ADR. Here's the Phoenix on the other hand, zoning them out once more. Bad Benny is low, so is Juve. Diablo in a bit of trouble. Mighty Gus already chosen to take Muradin back to safety, but Diablo is dead. He had the souls that he needed to immediately respawn, and now we are also seeing the Punisher claimed again by the red team, but great hits from the Dragon's Breath by Neon. He's going again, of course, for his attacks here from the safe distance up at the top. Needs to be really careful though at this point, because he's going to be locked down by that Punisher, the Frozen Punisher, trying to do some work. Neon already at half HP. That's not a lot if you don't have a lot of HP to start with, but those shots, man. Those shots fired once again, and he is hitting the back line too. He's not even wasting that damage to the front line. He had a solid shot against Nika, and that, of course, dropped Khaldor incredibly low there. Bad Benny, by the way, finds himself in an awkward spot and has to hop out, but the bottom fort has been destroyed. Both of the teams, again, on level 17. Both of them on 17 now, and both of them, of course, are also starting to go through the opponent's structures. They have both lost a fort, and we are seeing them now just like trying to rotate again, at least in the case of CLG, who are currently in a bit of yeah, they have a bit of a momentum spike going on for them right now. So they're going straight through the middle, having Blade and Neon there. But again, the time lapse and the shots, and down he goes. Khaldor is dead again. Great play here by the Chromie team, and in this case, she is about, or she already hit 66,000 damage. Now keep in mind, Chromie's poke is of course great, but it's poke from a distance, and if you can actually like force a fight after that, you're always in a good spot. But often, nice escape. Well done by Shiku. ADR even using the Mighty Gus to put him in, and look at Neon immediately using the time trap here to make sure that Sonya can't escape, but with a mystical spear, she is able to move away after all. But again, when we're talking about the Chromie damage, if you can keep her safe, she can get those damage numbers in, no doubt about it. But oftentimes the problem is to really just go deep and kill the target. But they're playing a game in which they're just trying to push the opponent back. If the double healers are not really able to keep the damage away, if they're in a spot where they can't just mitigate what Chromie is dishing out, then they have to back off the objective, and this is one of the ways how ADRD's team can really win it here. Elysium is really banking a lot of their plays on Chromie and their damage from a distance. But even with that, they have a solid setup. That Anubara going deep every time, surviving there, putting the pressure on the backline. Bed of Barbs, keeping also his allies safe. Falstad in very good position. We saw some great Mighty Gus from him already. And let's not forget about CLG. They want those kills, and they have what it takes. They can isolate maybe Muradin. They go in. There comes the combo. Apocalypse chosen, but the Mighty Gus again denying the kill. And of course Rhaegar with those with those cleanses. We saw some really nice cleanses by him. Some top-notch ancestrals too, but these cleanses are oftentimes the reason why targets don't die. Why that combo with Diablo, Khaldor, with Uther, with that force wall that they can drop is not as successful as they were hoping for. By now we have also the past and future me, so a great spell for Chromie to get even more damage in, and especially around death traps like this top shrine, this is just going to give them extra value. But we have seen games like this, where Chromie dies, is once out of position, and all of a sudden the game just completely flips. Not so when it comes to the top shrine now though. With level 20 versus level 18, 19, we're in a situation in which they just simply can't contest this. So they're just basically saying, guys, we have a fort at the top lane. We're sacrificing the fort. It's fine. We can do that. There's no problem with it. Let's just make sure we get the experience and fight another day. We cannot go up against the level 20 talent just yet. And we have, in this case, by the way, a double hard shield. So if we're talking about sustain on the two frontliners, that has now even been increased. And with the Storm Shield now also on Rhaegar, it's a great choice, by the way, in this case. We will have an even rougher time for them to take a target down. Especially Nika's damage with all of those living bombs that he's going to try and to put to the test. It's of course a great choice to go into a Storm Shield. Rhaegar players, oftentimes you see the rewind here. You have a lot of options of what he can do as Rhaegar, but in this case right now it makes perfect sense for them to go into the Storm Shield instead. At the same time, we're also now seeing with the Sun King's Fury, of course, that extra damage, and Master of Flames would be a solid option. We have seen all kinds of strategies used by Khaldor's players. You can go, Kreku, nice. Good dodge. He can't dodge the damage of Chromie, but still. Here's the Master of Flames, we have the Dying Breath, also Ignore Pain, the Storm Shield, and of course, Uther is going straight for his retribution. Already Nika in position here. Is moving back a little bit, needed to get healed, and he gets the Shield of Tacita immediately as well. Once more, the Punisher trying to go for the keep here. Phoenix is out. Invulnerable triggered on Kreku as his Dimensional Warp is healing him up once again. Prescience activated, but he's in trouble. Juve is there now too. And they take down the Punisher. Still, the Keep is being attacked. He's down to half health. Bad Betty's in a bit of trouble. Here comes the Apocalypse once more, and they're going straight for it. Kreku, once more, really low. He needs to make sure that he gets away. They could snipe him right now, especially with Chromie. Chromie is trying, is not hitting him though. Everybody getting healed up once again. And once more, by the way, in this case, Mighty Gust. Again, they're saving grace for them. Mighty Gust really making those plays. Look at Shiku on the other hand. He wants to get into the back line. Leo is there. They're trying to go for Diablo. There's the bait, and they're going deep. Neon is in trouble as Shiku is trying to get the kill confirmed. Juve is low. He needs to be careful too. He should have the stacks on the other hand. The Force Wall doesn't do anything in this case. And Bad Benny, there's the bomb, but it's not enough damage to really threaten him. Juve is already moving away, and Neon with the past and future me is trying to get the extra hits in. Kreku losing the shield, losing hit points as Chromie fires once more and hits home, but we have them going straight for the keep again. Elysium, they want it. They want the keep right now, and they are about to confirm it. That would be the first keep to fall. Juve already pressured. Shiku is trying it again. He's flanking. He wants to go for Chromie. Decides to switch it up to go for Bad Benny. The Phoenix is out once more, and the kill against Hassada. He was already on the edge of dying for a long, long time, and now it got confirmed. There's that. Oh my god. Uther is down too. He's going to be back, of course, but still, the damage output is insane. 98,000 damage that has been pushed out by Chromie already in this game. 49,000 on Kalthas, 37,000 on the side of Sonya. And well, even Falstad, 52,000. So Chromie is currently doubling not only Kalthas damage, but also doubling the damage that Falstad so far was able to bring to the table. It's another Punisher that is going to be announced here, and the timing is actually pretty decent for CLG. Hassada will be back by the time that the Punisher is being fought over. We're seeing now at the same time, again, we like CLG trying to get the cam completely at the right moment in time, because this one is only spawning another 8 seconds. They can't really go for it if they want to be on the shrine immediately. And of course, what CLG is going to look for is position. They are going to try and get that position on the shrine to make their play, so they're starting to move in once again. Shiku is there and is trying to go strong, trying to get the first few minion stacks. Hassada is now making his way back and keep this mind up at the top. So this camp at the top in mind. It's going to do a lot of damage against the fort here. Again, slightly inexperience. Thanks to the 22 versus 20 level. The stack advantage is in favor of Elysium. Apocalypse not doing anything. Really awkward Apocalypse there. That didn't do a thing in the world. Once again, Falstad flies in. He wants to go for the Gust, and he gets it. Diablo is down. The Dying Breath is in. They try to get a second kill with Chromie. Chromie actually in a bit of trouble here as Nika went deep for her, but he himself is exposed, and that's his demise. Down he goes. Chromie is once again just securing hit after hit. The Divine Shield is keeping Sonya alive. It's a 3 versus 5 though. They can't fight here. Kreku is running. Shiku trying to escape. The stun is going to be in any moment now. There comes the Impale, and Bad Benny waits for another Stormbolt. Kreku is here. Diablo is back. He goes into the time trap. But we have again so much damage on heroes like Neon's Chromie, and maybe this time it's the moment where they can kill her. They go for it. Neon is down. Chromie is dead. Juve is trying to confirm a second kill against Mitch Srager, but he's not able to lock him down. The Force Wall is there, and they're attempting to kill Bad Benny. Oh, Juve even jumping over the wall here after Bad Benny tried to jump out with his Dwarf Toss. Juve himself very low. 29 versus 30 minion stacks. 4 versus 4. Kelta's missing. Chromie missing. But they are still fighting, and the double support is keeping them alive. Arcane Punisher now for the red team. They will go through the middle, and we have in this case now, of course, an opportunity to not only take down the fort, but maybe even push it towards the keep, especially since there's still another 25 seconds until Chromie is back, whereas Kelthas already rejoined the fun here. So they're starting to move in immediately. We have at this point already an attempt to go straight for it. Yep, there we go. Leo, Kreku, everybody is going through the fort, and they're starting to put pressure onto the front line at the keep, especially as we're already seeing the arcane sentries all over the place. As you can see now, we're having in terms of damage, Chromie at 120k, still doubling Kelthas damage. Nika wants to change that, of course, and they're starting to move in. The Punisher is really low though, and they decide to move back for now and not take the fight here. Taking a fight against Chromie, staying behind the keep, probably not the best idea, so they just decide to take the extra time and maybe get a camp early on. That helps, of course, for now. But it's a smart decision if you ask me. I mean, in this case, they have to basically make a choice, and they can't really do too much there. Since it's already annoying enough if you have Chromie behind the enemy lines just trying to get the damage in. If there's also a key between you and the opponent, it's even more tricky. So right now, let's see how exactly this is going to work out, considering that we have, first of all, the top lane still pushing, and second of all, we have, of course, also the next shrine going to be the probably most important one in the entire game. It could be game deciding, to be honest with you. Nice, AD flying in, Mighty Gust, Kreku, he already activated Dimensional Shift, there comes the time lapse. One of the shots missing, nice, got cleansed out. It's a good cleanse by Leo, making sure that that works, so they actually retreat here. And that is Time Lapse and Mighty Gust out. Time Lapse and Mighty Gust both in cooldown now. So for now, there is definitely an upper hand for CLG. And again, the next one could end this entire game, the next Punisher that is. Depending on how the fight goes and where the shrine spawns, of course, the next Punisher can end this game for sure. The top lane, again, being deep pushed. 11 kills against 3, but when we're looking at the structures on the map, it's still very, very even. An advantage, obviously, for Elysium, thanks to the keep that they took down. But they are still in a very, very good spot here, CLG that is, to end it. It just comes down to the last objective, to the last team fight. And they are, of course, going to try again for Chromie, if they can. Maybe Rega, whoever they can kill here would be worth it. But we see Falstad with his cooldown back to business, so he's in a position where he will be able to use Mighty Gust again, if there is the engage. And he actually isolates too, he flies in, AD, they go for Nika! And it's the end of Kalthas, and this might be the deciding moment in the game. They go for Shiku, Shiku trying to escape here, that didn't really do anything for them. Kreku is already there, and well, for now it's a 4 versus 5. They're trying to come in from the side again. The Apocalypse, the stun combo not working. Juve unsuccessful here, trying to escape. The shrine is up. AD escaping as Diablo puts additional pressure on him. He's still moving away. He should have the minion stacks to come back again. He might not even have to use them though, because right now it seems very much like they are actually able to save Diablo for now. That would be amazing. And yes, they indeed are. They're trying to go for Blade instead. Blade might have chased a bit too far. Neon is getting a few more shots in. The shrine up at the top has been started. Kreku again being hit and very, very low. But as you can see, the shrine is already beginning. So for now, Mitch and Bad Benny, they are there. 10 more seconds until Kalthas is back. Can they make a play? It's only a few minion stacks. Elysium wasted a lot of time to try and chase here. Maybe they can make a couple of moves. At the same time now, though, when you look at the damage output, it's still absolutely insane what Chromie was able to do here so far. 132,000. Falset, by the way, also at a very, very solid 75k. At this point now, though, 12 versus 3 kills up at the top. We're already seeing Shiku starting to get pressured, but they can save him for now, and the shields are there. Kreku, that Q-bot, throwing those shields out whenever he can. And this time it's Shrine Control again. It's a 5 versus 5 with a kill against Kalthas. It looked for a long time like the game would already be over, but now they're fighting for the objective again. And up to the top lane. 23 versus 22, the levels. 12 kills versus 3, the stacks, both of them closing in on the 20 count. And we have again the shots towards the backline. Neon with a lot of damage that he's pressuring in once more. The past and the future me helping him out with that. Blade trying to zone for Chromie as much as he can, whereas Benny is taking position on the shrine. AD with a boomerang, one after another. The shields again. Tassadar keeping everyone alive so far. And Nika staying very passive in the backline. They know this is the fight that counts. Bad Benny is low. Juve also. Here comes again the Apocalypse. They're trying to go for the stun, but immediately we're seeing a cleanse on Falstad. Uses the Mighty Gust, pushes them into the corner. Neon is once again trying to secure the kill. He might be able to do it. Down goes Diablo, and this could be the end of Uther as well. He just barely gets out of it. Of course, he has his ult still up, and he's going to use it. Diablo had the minion counts that he needed, and they're starting to move in, but the objective is taken. It's taken by CLG. They get it, but they might lose even more heroes up here. Tassadar is in trouble, so is Leo. He's about to fall again, and this time he's not going to come back. They are trying to go for Nika as well, and this is the end of Kalthas. Shiku is there. He's attempting to make something happen, to maybe get a counter kill, but it's not working out for them. The objective was taken, but it's not... The Punisher jumping after AD as he flies over. Well, that would have been a pretty interesting sight. And they go for a core. They go for a core. They start to defend, and then somebody is like, boys, what are we doing? Let's just end this. So they are actually going to try and go for core here. I don't know if they can still do it. They lost a lot of time, actually. They hesitated for a long time right now. Sonya is still there. They have another 20 seconds until Tacita is back. 20 seconds. Shihu and Juve, if they survive, right now it seems like they will die. Oh, Diablo! Sonya goes in and they deny even more. You can't end here. You cannot end here anymore. Maybe if they would have moved immediately, they could have, but they just waited too long. And that is also going to result in the Punisher going through the keep. Huge, like, misjudgment here on the side of Team Elysium. They made a horrible call there. Well, actually, like, the call itself wasn't really horrible. Both calls, and he does it again! AD is just showing off right now, making the Punisher jump the entire time. Yeah, so definitely, wow, I cannot believe that this is still alive. AD with that jump, or forcing the Punisher to jump, saving the keep, actually. But again, the hesitation that we saw there, it was definitely a huge problem for them. If you go core right away, you have a decent chance of ending the game. If you don't, then you have to defend. And it should have actually resulted in them losing a keep, but as is, it didn't. So if there is one opportunity for them to maybe sneak through the top lane, they could take the keep up at the top out. And that would actually cancel out the fact that, of course, CLG early on in this game has lost their keep up at the top lane too. So in this case, definitely a moment where Elysium showed that when it comes to the late game calls here, they are still not 100%. But they have played a very strong game so far, and they are still slightly in the lead here. So let's see if they can actually finish this game. And I mean, we're 30 minutes into the map, right? 30 minutes at this point, which is getting kind of crazy. So right now, we're having 150,000 damage already on Chromie. We're having 82,000 on the side of Sonya. 80,000, by the way, also for Khaldor. So the damage output is, of course, very, very different here. But keep also in mind that we have a lot of heals on the side of the red team. I mean, Tacita alone has 106,000 heal. We're seeing Uther with another 100k. So, yeah, of course, there's a lot of damage output that we are seeing for Elysium. But there's already a ton of healing power that we have for CLG, so that they can actually negate a lot of the damage that Chromie currently dishes out. It's still pretty insane to see those numbers, especially if you account for Falstad having nearly 100,000 damage in the hero damage too. And we're talking about siege damage on the board of like 200,000. He's already crossed that, so that is pretty insane as well. It's kind of an interesting game if you think about it. 17 kills against 3. You would expect a bit of a different outcome here, a little bit more of a one-sided game. But so far it has actually been very back and forth here. A lot of the kills could not be secured by CLG, which is definitely a problem for them. If they get a few kills in the early stages of a fight and can snowball it, then of course it would be a completely different story. But they are doing overall very well here. And again, it is another objective that might decide the game. And of course, these Punishers, they scale, and this is starting to get very, very scary here. That's starting to jump in once more. Juve is there, Bad Benny too. Again, the dance of the two tanks at the front line. Blade is zoning as much as he can. He's always poking a little bit against the minions, but his job is really also to keep Neon safe and Falstad. Look at how far back Mitch is. He knows that if he gets jumped, he's in trouble. He only goes in for the shields and for the totems. That's about it. Blade is already losing hit points, but again, Chromie with the damage. Here comes the engager, trying to go for it. Falstad Gust is there. Greku moves back. Juve is going deep once more, but he dies. He has the stacks. He will be back, and they can't get the kill against the Nubarak. This is a disaster for them. Nika is so low, and that's Uther dying again. His redemption is up. He's coming back, but this is the time lapse, and it doesn't hit anything. Uther is going to be back in a moment, but guys, this is the Punisher. Confirmed now for Elysium. They have it, and they can go through the mid lane. Bot lane is pushing a bit, but is this really going to do anything? Will the mid lane now finish the game? It looks very much like they are going to try and do it, and they're at least going to get the keep. There's no doubt about that. The question is, can they go for the core? 19 kills against 3. Here comes once again the Punisher. John Cena, and that guy is a monster right now. He's just basically... well, he's not quite one-hitting the keep just yet, but he is definitely doing a whole lot of work. Once again, the poke from the distance. The damage numbers at this point, of course, absolutely insane. Juve running away, baiting him down to the bot lane into another keep. They're trying to keep the core safe. And again, Bad Benny has to jump out of here. Nice job by Diablo, making sure that this guy is not getting too much pressure against the core, but he's of course coming back. They're dancing around again. Juve is moving back. He can't die here. He doesn't have the stacks anymore. He would be down for good. He has a dying breath. It might be a bit of a saving grace. Again, the mighty gust. The core is about to lose hit points, as is Greku trying to shield it, but Fawcett is down. That's a lot of damage already gone, but the core is still being attacked here, and this could be the end. The kill against Chromie. The Punish, on the other hand, is going for it. Guys, this is going to get so close. 20 points. Mitch, Matt Benny, the Punisher, 5%. It's only, oh, it's so late. It's only Mirrodin, but this is game GG as CLG is taken down by Elysium Gaming.